Rage on that beat, going crazy.
What is up, you guys? ETG here, back with another NBA video, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all are hyped, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know it's been a long time since I made a video, and it's been a long time since I made an NBA video. I apologize for my lack of consistency. I already told y'all in a previous video, I'm a manager for the UTSA basketball team and I work, so basically I'm busy 7 days a week. But I finally found the time to make this recording. Hopefully I can get back to video games soon, but yeah, I don't want this to be too long. So without further ado, let's get into the video, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so basically in this video, y'all saw the title. I'm going to be talking about why the Miami Heat are where they are now. And to be honest, they basically shocked the world. I'll give them credit. They look like the best team in the NBA when it comes to unity and just trusting in each other and everybody doing their part. Now, am I saying talent-wise they're the best? No, but as a team, they are the best team in the NBA right now, and they could even possibly knock off the Lakers, but don't click away. I'm going to explain why I believe that. So, I think one thing that the Miami Heat had when they were rebuilding that they didn't have in common with the other rebuilding teams that are still rebuilding is that the Miami Heat always maintained their culture. Miami Heat, I believe their culture has about three things to it that are like the main cornerstones of their culture. The first thing is mental toughness. Mental toughness, you need mental toughness to be successful in any sport as a team. And if you have that mental toughness, it allows you to be physically tough as well. And most NBA teams are not mentally tough. They have players that are mentally tough, but as a team, most NBA teams are not mentally tough. And the Miami Heat are one of those teams, and they've always been that way because the way their culture is, they look for specific players that fit those parameters for them. They have built a roster of players that can go through any situation and know how to play and react through it. I mean, like, let's look at the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks have the best player in the world in Giannis Antetokounmpo. And, yeah, I know I'm kind of flipping my opinion a little bit. I said the Milwaukee Bucks were going to go to the NBA Finals in my bubble video. I know I sound like an idiot right now, but, I mean, the thing with the Bucks, Giannis has this aura of he's a great player because of how mentally tough he is, but the rest of that team just doesn't seem focused as a team. And as a result, I feel like at least they weren't as focused as the Miami Heat. And that's why the Heat were able to bury them. And that's why the Heat were able to bury the Pacers too. The second cornerstone, I think, that plays to their culture and how good they are now is their unity. Like, you obviously in basketball, to be successful, you have to be unified. And I think a team that's unified is much more common than a team that's mentally tough. Because mental toughness takes getting through adversity, and not every team has been through that. Like, I feel like the Lakers are pretty unified when it comes to their team chemistry and clicking with one another. Even though they have a new roster, I feel like they all understand each other very well, and they know how to play off of each other. They're pretty unified. The Nuggets are obviously very unified. Actually, going back to mental toughness, that's why the Nuggets have gone so far too. I mean, they're just mentally tough, but yeah, I don't want to get too off topic, but yeah, the Nuggets are very unified. The Celtics are very unified. The last four teams in the playoffs, they all understand each other. They understand where they need to be in their sets. They understand who's in charge of what, and they're all bought in. I mean, that's a very important thing, but I think the Miami Heat, the difference between the Miami Heat and the other three teams is that I feel like the trust is genuine. Like, with the Miami Heat, they can actually trust the other players to do their thing. Like, if you saw, it was Game 4, I believe. Yeah, Game 4. I'm recording this right after Game 4 of the Heat Celtics. Goran Dragic hit a huge corner three to basically bury the Celtics. I mean, the Heat got screwed at the end of that game, and it almost costed them the game because, give the Celtics credit, they kept just chipping and chipping and chipping. But, I mean, they can trust anybody. Goran Dragic is averaging over 20 points in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler's Jimmy Butler. Bam is looking like the best defensive center in the NBA besides Anthony Davis right now. I mean, he's absolutely ridiculous. If you saw that block over Jason Tatum, that might be the greatest block I've ever seen. And prayers out to Bam Adebayo. I hope he's not injured. I mean, at the time of me recording this audio clip, there's no report on how bad his arm is. I don't know if y'all saw the end of the game, but he could barely move his arm. Prayers out to him. I hope he's not hurt because that would really ruin their title run. But Tyler Hero also, I mean, you can trust in him. You can trust in Duncan Robinson to knock down a quick three. You could even though Kendrick Nunn's not been getting tons of minutes, you could even put him in and he can contribute. The thing is, they're just so unified. They understand each other. They understand their roles. They understand who's there to do what. And the thing that makes Jimmy Butler such an all-star is that he plays like an all-star, but he doesn't have the stats. And what I mean by that is Jimmy understands that he is in there for two things. He is in there for intimidation, and he's kind of a decoy sometimes because of how well-rounded their team is, and also he's in there for defense. And that's what Jimmy does. Jimmy locks down the best player on the team. That's just what Jimmy does. And he gets buckets, obviously. That's why they call him Jimmy Buckets. He's a pure scorer, but the thing is, if it's not there, he's smart enough to be able to get it to the other guys so they can knock shots down. I mean, Tyler Hero is 20 years old, dropped 37 points in Game 4. He's a year older than me. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know. But, yeah, I mean, just because of how unified they are, that's why they've been so successful. And then the third cornerstone is, I mean, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a culture, but I would say it is something that is important. They built their team from the foundation. So, I mean, the thing is, in order to have a good team in the NBA, you have to have that foundation. I feel like there's never really been a championship team that was just built overnight. I mean, you could say, oh yeah, when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, they were a championship team built overnight. I mean, besides Kevin Durant, who was really new on that team? I mean, think about this. Let's look at the Golden State Warriors dynasty, right? Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson were both Warriors their entire careers. Draymond Green as well. That was their big three before Kevin Durant got there. Harrison Barnes, I believe they also drafted him too, if I remember correctly. And then they signed Andre Iguodala before they started winning those championships. They had the foundation. They developed those players into who they are. I mean, would they have become successful without the Warriors? Probably, but individually, not as a team. But the thing is, when you have that foundation, teams and players get used to each other and they're able to click better and they trust each other more, which goes into that mental toughness. If you look at the Miami Heat, they have built the foundation. Obviously, it's Jimmy Butler's first year there, but Goran Dragic has been there for what? This is his third season, something like that. Tyler Hero, they drafted. I know he's a rookie, it's his first year, but they still drafted him. It's the only team he knows. He's used to the Heat. It's all he knows, right? Bam Adebayo, also drafted by the Miami Heat. I know it's just his second year, but he's been developed by that franchise, and I feel like as a person, you would have an attachment to that first franchise you were a part of just naturally because at that time, it's all you know. Duncan Robinson, he wasn't drafted by the Miami Heat, but he was signed by the Miami Heat, and it's the only team that Duncan Robinson has ever played for. I mean, his entire career, he's only played for either Miami's G League affiliate or he's played for the Miami Heat. So they all know, Kendrick Nunn as well. So, and Kelly Olynyk's been there a while as well. That's what I'm trying to say. They built the foundation. Those players are used to each other. They trust each other. They're bought in. And they had the tools to have that mental toughness. But Jimmy Butler was really the X factor for them. Because Jimmy Butler is perfect for the Miami Heat culture. He exemplifies mental toughness and unity. Because the thing is, unity doesn't just mean you always like each other. You hold people accountable too. And that's the thing that made Jimmy, I wouldn't say he struggled on his other teams because they were more successful with him, but that's why they were never able to get over the hump with Jimmy Butler like the Miami Heat are able to do. Because like I told you guys earlier, not every team in the NBA is a mentally tough team. I mean, let's look at the teams he's on. The Chicago Bulls, they had that culture before they became trash. So, I mean, obviously that's the team he was most successful for. He was there for quite a long time, and he won a lot of games for the Chicago Bulls. His second team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean, they made the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long when he was there. But they just didn't like him because he held the players accountable, and they didn't like that. And I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with a player being offended if they get yelled at or something. I get it. I don't know what Jimmy said. It was behind closed doors. Jimmy might have crossed the line. But my point is, Jimmy was just trying to hold them accountable because he wanted the team to get better. And I think the Timberwolves stars like Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, I guess you could say Andrew Wiggins was a quote-unquote star, not really, but yeah, he was solid for the Timberwolves. But anyway, I mean, they just didn't appreciate Jimmy doing that, and I feel like that really rubbed Jimmy the wrong way, and I feel like that's why they had the beef they had in the bad team chemistry. And then you go to the Philadelphia 76ers. They were one shot away from making the conference finals, so we'll give them that. I think Kawhi just hit a really big shot against them. But let's be real. Are the 76ers really that mentally tough? We see them year in and year out play below expectations. They're like the Cowboys of the NBA because they're just the epitome of mediocrity. They've never gotten over that hump that we've all just been waiting for them to get over. I mean, my preseason prediction, I had the 76ers in the finals, being a runner-up to the Lakers. That was my preseason prediction. But there's just that mental aspect to it. And the problem is the 76ers never really seemed unified. I mean, if you saw in the bubble, there was one game, I think they were playing the Pacers. Joel Embiid and Shake Milton actually almost fought each other because they were yelling at each other. And, like, look, holding each other accountable is fine, but once it gets to a certain point, you just have to kind of relax. And I feel like the 76ers didn't really get what Jimmy was trying to do. And Jimmy, to the 76ers, wasn't that core piece to them. I mean, obviously, he was a part of their big three with Ben Simmons and Joel. But Ben and Joel were always the guys to at least Philadelphia's front office, in my opinion. And I don't think Jimmy was just ever really able to live up to his potential as a leader on that team because I don't think that they considered him a leader of that team. But the thing is, you don't have to be the best player on the team to be the leader. And even though talent-wise, I don't think Jimmy was the best player. I mean, I know he's better than Ben Simmons, but he's not better than Joel Embiid talent-wise, but he's a better leader than Joel Embiid, much better, than, in my opinion. I mean, he's more experienced than Joel Embiid. I mean, he's more mentally tough than Joel Embiid. Every time Joel Embiid has been in a situation in his NBA career where it was do or die, he died. I mean, let's be real. I mean, he just hasn't been able to get over that hump. But with Miami, he fits their culture so perfect because they are able to handle the accountability. They hold him accountable, he holds them accountable, and this goes back to what I'm saying about unity. They understand each other and they trust each other, not to mention the great coaching. And this culture doesn't just go back to when they're rebuilding. I'm talking about when LeBron was there too. I mean, when LeBron was there, obviously, they were the most talented team in the NBA. And that's why they were a dynasty. They had the best small forward all time. And in my opinion, a top 3 shooting guard in NBA history. I mean, yes, was Dwayne Wade a little bit past his prime? Yes, but he was still an all-star. And Chris Bosh was a beast too. I'm not saying that they didn't get there because of talent, but part of the reason why they were so dominant, they had those cornerstones. LeBron is a mentally tough player. I mean, yeah, he whines and complains all the time, but he's been in every situation in the world, and he was able to come through when they needed him. I mean, with the exception of 2011, obviously that was the choke job of the century from LeBron James. But, I mean, they trusted each other. LeBron and Dwayne Wade are still best friends to this day. They're very good friends. I mean, they were just as a team, they were all clicking. I mean, Mario Chalmers was a great facilitator for them. Norris Cole, good point guard off the bench. They had shooters, Mike Miller, Shane Battier played good defense. I mean, they just were Birdman, great defender for them as well. Chris Bosh got rebounds for them. Ray Allen, knockdown shooter. LeBron, Dwayne Wade. And the thing is, going back to the Heat culture, another important thing you need to be successful is to trust each other. And if you go back to that 2013 team specifically, I mean, who took that last shot in Game 6 when they beat the Spurs? My Spurs, but we're not going to talk about that. Ray Allen. And Ray Allen was past his prime. I mean, obviously shot never goes away, but Ray Allen, it was an old Ray Allen past his prime. If I remember correctly, 2013 was his last year, or 2014, something like that. But, I mean, he hit the biggest shot of his life years after his prime. And why? Because Chris Bosh trusted him. He didn't try to force the ball to LeBron or Dwayne Wade. He gave it to the open man because they were unified and they trusted each other. And if you go back to this Miami Heat team, their play style is very similar to how that Heat team used to play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a young guy, so I was like 12 when that Heat team played. So was I truly able to appreciate how they played, especially since I'm a Spurs fan? No. But that culture has never gone away. And I think the X factor for that is Eric Spoelstra. He's one of the best coaches in the NBA. And he knows how to develop guys. And that's why their rookies are playing so good and their young guys are playing so good. Also, they know their roles. I mean, Duncan Robinson, obviously he's an NBA player. He can do everything, but he's going to shoot threes when he gets them. That's it, because he knows he's a shooter. Jimmy and Bam are there for defense. Yes, they are all-stars. Yes, they can do everything, but they are known for their defense, and they take pride in it, and they out-hustle people. Goran's in there for offense. He's a spark plug for them. He knocks down shots. He also facilitates. Tyler Hero, also a spark plug for them, so he knows when he gets the ball, it's time to let it fly. And they're all successful in their roles, and they don't care about stats. So many teams care about stats, and the Heat do not. And that is why they are so good. I mean, they're all bought in as well. I mean, in my theory of coaching class, my professor said something, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something like, if you can get your top 6 players to buy in, then the rest will fall in line. And I feel like the entire Miami Heat team is bought in. I mean, they all care, and they don't care about their minutes. You don't hear anybody chirping. You don't hear Kendrick Nunn complaining that he suddenly lost his starting job to Goran Dragic just because he got hurt. I mean, does he deserve his job back? No. But does he deserve more minutes? Probably. But, I mean, Kendrick Nunn doesn't care. He just wants to win. They all just want to win, and they all believe that they can win. That's another thing I was going to say. Their culture, the third cornerstone is confidence. They're confident in each other. They trust each other. And because of that, they are so much better. And their mental toughness. I know I already preached mental toughness, but if you look at that Game 3, why did they win? Oh, no, they lost Game 3. Sorry about that. Game 2. Why did they win Game 2? They out-hustled the Boston Celtics. I keep remembering that play where the Celtics kind of just watched the ball go out of bounds, and Jimmy dove for it, saved it, sprinted back, and then got the dunk. I mean, that is why that Miami Heat team is so good. And that's why they're one game away from going to the NBA Finals when no one really thought they were, at least before the bubble. I mean, obviously, they've looked very special in the playoffs and in the bubble. We all know that. But did anybody pick them to go to the finals? I don't think so. And will they beat the Lakers? I don't know if they have the talent. I hope they do. But I just don't know, because LeBron is amazing. LeBron is another animal. But they are going to hold their own. And mark my words, they're going to give the Lakers problems. And if it's the Nuggets and Heat will be very competitive, because I think the Nuggets are very similar to the Heat in terms of how their team was built, how that foundation was made, and how they became so good together. But yeah, best of luck to the Miami Heat. Hopefully Bam's healthy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed what I talked about. If you guys want to see more NBA videos, make sure you smash the like button. Comment down below other things you want me to talk about. Sorry I haven't been posting video game videos. I've just been so busy, and honestly, 2K21 is god-awful, and I've just been so exhausted because I've been working 7 days a week, basically. So, but yeah, I'll get more content out to you guys soon. I miss you guys so much, and I can't wait to keep making videos for y'all. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. This is ETG signing off.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.